I made Jackie leave her 6 Olympic medals backstage. She wanted to carry them out here. But it's such an honor to be here with the two of you today, and just knowing both of you and your commitment to hunger, to agriculture, to making a difference. I think it's important for everybody to hear, kind of your story. So, Jackie, you grow up in East St. Louis, and I want to hear about what that was like, but then also your desire to go back to East St. Louis. You could have gone anywhere, right? You could have gone back to UCLA in Southern California, but you didn't. You went back to East St. Louis. So tell us a bit about that journey.
So, growing up in East St. Louis and having people pour into me and saw the potential that I did not know that I had, being able to use athletics, as a gift, but then to further my education and to really start looking at other things that I wanted to do, because all I heard was nothing good come from our community, and I know there are great people there that's trying to do great things. And so my parents were young, but they instilled in me a commitment to hard work. My mother wanted me to get a job and an education and pay her 10% of the money that I earned, and didn't care about me running, jumping, and throwing. But I think for me, it's very important to recognize and be proud of where you're from, regardless of the circumstances and regardless of what people may think of your community. And someone has to stand up in order to be a role model for a generation of today and the generation before, because if you can't claim that you're from somewhere, then how can you go anywhere? And so for me, it was always about trying to get people to have an appreciation for the people that are there, but then also to be able to come into the community and see how the community would embrace anyone from all walks of life with honor and respect.
Yeah, that's amazing. So, Dr. Jones, son of a sharecropper, I have to imagine in a similar but different way, your story has some similarities?
Well, I think there are quite a few similarities, and the first one to start with is neither Jackie nor I came from middle class or wealthy families, but yet notwithstanding that, there was something internal to us that gave us that extra drive and determination. And for me, my parents were sharecroppers. I knew that was not the road that I decided to pursue. I knew I wanted to be a scientist ever since I was about 9 years old. And one of the best gifts that I think my parents gave to me was the courage to tell the landowner that their kids would not spend a day picking cotton, shaking peanuts, the way most of the sharecroppers' family. It was very much a tradition that the black kids would miss weeks out of school to harvest crops. That was the best gift my parents gave my brother, my sister, and myself, was to make sure we got a good education. That didn't mean, however, my dad was a practical man. When that school bus rolled through that plantation at about 3 o'clock, we got off that school bus and picked cotton or shook peanuts until the sun went down. So he had his principles, but he also was very practical. And I was very fortunate enough to have a high school vocational ag teacher who called me professor in 9th grade. So I guess it stuck somewhere along the way. I ended up going to Fort Valley State, a predominantly black college, land-grant university in Peach County, Georgia. Did well enough there to go to University of Georgia, where I did a master's degree, did research on peanuts. Left there, went to University of Missouri, studied tall fescue. And if you don't know what tall fescue is, ask anyone that grows cattle in the state of Missouri. They'll tell you exactly what it is. And went to Minnesota, and I was 26 years old. Had the great honor of running a very large research lab in plant physiology and molecular biology. And ironically, my focus became, how do we make sure our grain crops are tolerant to heat and drought, and did all the physiological molecular biology work that has now led to crops being some of the basic work that has helped us provide heat tolerant and drought tolerant crops. But I guess the connection back to what we're talking about today is that I got pulled into an administrative position where I was asked to establish the kind of program that Hormel is doing with the community in Austin.
Yeah.
I did it at the University of Minnesota in a very economically depressed area called North Minneapolis.
Yeah.
Created the UROC, the Urban Research Outreach and Engagement Center. And so that's been my path to this work as a scientist, as a scholar, but also as an administrator who sees how critically important. You have talked about it for companies. Universities, particularly land grant universities, have an obligation to do this kind of work both locally, domestically, and globally.
Yeah. Interesting. Well, you don't sound very passionate about it. I wish you would be.
I'm sorry, I'll try to tone it down.
Amazing journey. And, I want to now talk about kind of where you are today, right? And so, Jackie, I think about, you having gone to the University of California, Los Angeles, UCLA, thank you. I don't want to make that mistake. A great athlete, Olympic champion, and by the way, Jackie still holds the world record in the heptathlon, so look it up. 1988. But like I said earlier, you could have gone anywhere. You could have done anything else. But you went back to East St. Louis and you started the Jackie Joyner-Kersee Foundation. The why and how?
The why is very important, and one of our philosophy is always that those who know why will always beat those who know how. And as I was a student, I knew how, but I didn't know the why. And deep down on the inside, I knew I wanted to be back in the community of East St. Louis, and I go off to college and I'm diagnosed as an asthmatic. I lose my mother unexpectedly, travel back home, and I go to a center where I found so much love and joy, and people poured into me. The librarian at that time, learned how to check out books, do book reports. Catherine Dunham, who is from our community, did African dance, did the Meals on Wheels program, did the arts, and also did the sports. But I go to the doors and there's padlocks on there. So I just started thinking, where do the young people go? And at that time, I'm 18 years of age, and I have this audacious idea, I can open this center, but I didn't know you need money to do all of that.
Resources, yeah.
But I realized that I have the ability maybe to make an Olympic team, and how could I use my Olympic experience and being able to bring a spotlight, but then also being able to go back home. And when you talk about planting seeds and planting a seed, being able to work with people who believed in me, opening the JJK Center in 2000. Yeah. You fast forward at that time, prior to 2000, where we are today, we were only doing like after-school programming. We realized when our students were coming in, they were really noisy. We weren't feeding them at the time. Another barrier was that they couldn't get there because of transportation. So we really bridged that gap in being a part of the food program, then also being able to provide transportation, being able to pour into the students. And for me, it's best that they see me, not just read about me or see me on television. I might not walk in their shoes, but I have walked the same pavement and try to inspire them to be the best that they could be. And fast forward where we are today with the Jackie Joyner-Kersee Food, Agriculture, and Nutrition. We call it JJK FAN, the collaborative. Yeah. And as I evolve and try to become the best, it's because people believe in me. And when you have the head of the university, Chancellor Jones, lending his people to support what we're trying to do, the head of Lansdowne Up, another partner, Mestermacher and Carol Mestermacher, believing in what we're trying to do in the community of East St. Louis. You have the head of Donald Danforth Plant Science Center. and all of these pieces come together. But before those pieces came together, it was the foresight of a dear friend of mine, Mark Scholl, who we were trying to do something in North St. Louis and not having the resources, being able to call on people from the Family Forum Foundation to believe in us, but not having money to do the tractor or keeping up the grounds and trying to do these things. And the collaborative of all of us coming together is bringing something that you talk about, transforming a community. The flight of what people say about East St. Louis, getting people to come and see. So Pastor Solar Greenhouse, student being able to do collard greens to see what could grow. It's just amazing and inspiring. But that's enough for me.
It is. It is absolutely amazing, and I hope that all of you, if you haven't already, have Googled or looked up the JJK Foundation, the collaborative FAN. We had a chance to visit it, gosh, probably now a year and a half ago, and until you get there and you see it and you really experience it, as great a job as Jackie did describing it, words still don't do it justice. What the facility is, the resources, and the impact that it's having is amazing. Now, in your comments, you talked about amazing people, amazing partnerships, and we've had a chance to meet a lot of those partners. And we talked about planting seeds. Well, obviously, you planted a seed with Chancellor Jones here because they have gotten engaged. And so, Chancellor Jones, just curious, from your perspective, right, what was it that you saw that was such an opportunity to become a big partner?
Well, let me put it this way. From where I sat as the Chancellor of the University of Illinois, long background in ag research, plant science research, fundamentally understand the importance of food and food insecurity issues. To me, it was a no-brainer in many ways. And university had a presence in East St. Louis 25 years ago, but for some reason, it backed away from that. And I've been asking questions, why did we back away? Then all of a sudden, I start to hear about this young lady. And it came about two ways through, I call them Mark II, or the two Marks. Jackie has just mentioned them, who are alums of my great university. So that was an important connection. And then Dr. Kimberly Kitwell, who was the Dean of the College of Agriculture, Food and Environmental Sciences, developed a very strong relationship with Jackie, brought Jackie to campus, and I had a chance to meet with her and understand what this partnership was all about. And so for me, it is what I call a good example of what I call radical, not just bold, but radical collaborations, where you have these unusual partners that come together with a common sense of purpose. And Jackie, the requirements for that is you have to have trust, and there has to be mutuality. So that's the framework through which I look at partnership. The fact that the University of Illinois is a land-grant university, we have an obligation to work in communities, and it became easier to partner with someone like Jackie, who already is anchored in the community around educating pre-K education that plants the seed for the next generation of students that I need to attend the University of Illinois or any other higher education institution, and then combine that with our long-standing land-grant mission to leverage not only our College of Agriculture, but our extension service that is world-class and 4-H to assist Jackie in carrying out her mission. And I just love the framework, that the educational framework to get these people interested in getting an education is through food, nutrition. So it's a perfect ecosystem for a university like mine to take a deep sense of responsibility. We moved our extension operation on this campus that Jackie's school is a part of to be part of this ecosystem, to do some transformative things that we think, just like your Hormel strategy, should become a model for other places to emulate.
Wow. That's a little better passion.
Okay, I'll tone it down a little bit.
I mean, absolutely amazing. So before we get to the future, I do want to take a minute and reflect on it as you think about the great work that's happened in East St. Louis. What are you most proud of as you sit here today thinking about, when the padlocks are on the door to when you go back to St. Louis this afternoon and you walk into the facility? What are you most proud of?
What I'm most proud of is that, one, we're doing it, and two, that we're able to expose our students to things that they didn't know they needed to be exposed to. Yeah. And to see our young people learning where food comes from, not just from a can or a box, and to see their excitement, introducing them to careers that they didn't even know existed, and here we talking about food, but they want to be entrepreneurs, want to get into cosmetics, and how agriculture connects them to that. Being able to have them to buy in and be open, to learning and to see, the success of not letting the Mississippi River divide us, to have a Donald Danforth Plant Science Center send over their researchers and send over their leaders to really work with our students makes a tremendous difference. Instead of our student having to go to them, they found a way to come to us and open that door, so our students will look forward to going over there and seeing, wow, this research center, the endless possibilities. So I would say, and then just the success, of our students, and using, we have a curriculum called Winning in Life, and one of the principles is risk-taking. They might not like zucchini, but on that day, it's risk-taking, and they're willing to take a risk. And they try some zucchini and zucchini sticks and learn something about a vegetable that they had no idea about.
Yeah, it is. And again, I mean, just words can't describe the facility and the impact. They just can't. So Chancellor Jones, from your perspective, I mean, your engagement with it, I mean, what are you most proud of, either personally or on behalf of the university?
Well, I guess I look at it from multiple perspectives. What I'm most proud of is what Jackie and the entire team has built together. Yeah. Because this is a new model of what I call community or public engagement, where you go into a community and you try to leverage your assets with the assets that are already in community. One of the biggest misperception about university engagement is the old model that we're from the university, we have all the knowledge, and we're here to help. That doesn't work. It hasn't worked in decades. Yeah. And so what my approach, and it's good to see it coming to life with our partnership with JJK, is that we are leveraging the expertise, her passion for educating young people, using food as a way to get people interested in education. And it does leverage not only my leadership role at the University of Illinois, but it's also, I must inform you that I'm glad to be on the Council of Advisors for this great organization. I'm also I'm a board member of National 4-H, and there are a few other places where I'm on the Farm Foundation board. So this is all the stuff that's been the source of my excitement of being a scientist and being a university administrator, all coalescing around this vision of what these organizations. I'm also on the board of Danforth. I think I didn't mention that. Let me be clear. So this is perfect ecosystem for me, leveraging all these points of contact and my leadership role to work with the partner to do something. Frankly, Jackie had done amazing work, but I think all of us would agree it takes these seamless partnerships to do this kind of work at scale. You showed a slide that showed your partnership. It takes a partnership to make this work. And I'm most proud of the fact that all of these entities that I'm associated with are in line with this kind of work to bring about substantive change, and that's nothing more fundamental than an education, and it's hard to be educated if you've got food insecurity issues. And so this is one of the things across my 47 years in higher education I'm most proud of, is to play a small part in building on the outstanding platform and dream that Jackie has brought to this vital community. And we are going to be leveraging our 4-H positive youth development strategy in partnership with Jackie as well, to make sure we continue to motivate youth.
And I know from a corporate America perspective, being in a number of different industry associations, the topic of food security has never been elevated to the point that it is today, right? The conversations that are happening across conference rooms and boardrooms, I mean, it's unlike anything I've ever seen. And so I think, you know, when you think about partnerships and where corporations fit into this, I know we've got some great sponsors. We saw their logos on the signs outside, but I really do think there's an opportunities for companies and corporations to step up and get engaged in an even bigger way. So, the future. I know you're not done.
Can't be.
You know, just as you think about these amazing partners that you have, that you described, that are here, you know, what's next? Where do you want to see this thing go?
Whoa, what's next is that we talk about JJK Fan. We're actually building an innovation center that will open fall of 2025. You know, so that is huge for our community, for our staffs, for our students. And when I think of what Lansdowne Up is doing, working from the soft skills, getting ready for the workforce, and then to have U of I, you know, from cradle to careers, Donna Danforth Plant Science Center, you know, that there are careers there that our young people can see and be able to continue to help us grow and have the ag tech people wanted to build in the community of East St. Louis. Yeah. It's so important, you know, and this is local that we're doing. And that if we continue to grow and do the things that I know that's gonna outlive me, but the next generation is going to be, and I don't want to say I hope, I know, will be in great hands as they continue to be innovators, you know, creators, you know, allow their minds to be expanded, because when you look at food insecurity, the things that we are faced with, you talk about health disparities, you talk about poverty, all of those things are in East St. Louis. Yeah. We live in a food desert. And so being able to just be a link and finding others to come along would make a difference. And you look forward to how do we look at how AI going to play a significant role in this. Yeah. But it's what we're doing in the community of East St. Louis. And those of you that are out there, come and visit us and come and see what we're doing. And in return, we'll come visit you and see what you're doing.
Yeah, and so that means you're going to be around for a while doing this work. You're not going anywhere.
Oh, no. It's like the world record in the heptathlon is 36 years, you know, and counting. So God willing, keep me around to keep doing what I'm doing. You know, pour that knowledge into others. But I'm always be a motivator and inspiring people to believe in the impossible is probable, because you would have never believed that this was happening. Not only what we're talking about with the Innovation Center being built, housing is being built around the area. You know, we have the wrestling wing. We're talking about a whole campus. Yeah. The state police, they're going to build their headquarters. So you're seeing movement. Now we just slowly need to get that tax base where people can come in and make a difference, and then industries can come over on the east side. You know, they can have a place over on the Missouri side too. Now, I'm not knocking Missouri, but anyway, East St. Louis.
Yeah. Well, I love just the forethought, right? It's not just, hey, we're going to get food for students. It's, I mean, who talks about tax base, right, when we're thinking about this issue, right? I mean, so the comprehensive nature of your approach and the process is absolutely unbelievable, and so it's great to hear what the future looks like. So Chancellor Jones, as you think about the work that is being done and the obligation that you said land-grant universities have, the work that's being done in East St. Louis, the work that's being done in Austin, Minnesota, how replicatable do you think those opportunities are in other communities? Not thinking about the Atlanta, Georgias or the Chicago, Illinois, but thinking about the Algona, Iowa, Wilmer, Minnesota.
Right. Well, I think there are many elements of what we have built in partnership with Jackie can be replicated, but I'll go back and remind you that each situation is unique. And this is a very, very unique situation, and I think we've tried to take full advantage of it. And Jackie just shared with you how catalytic this has been for other assets to co-locate to be part of this ecosystem. But I can tell you based on the work that I did at Minnesota, work that I've done in Albany, New York, when I was president there for 4 years, and I'm in my 9th year at Urbana-Champaign. And we have leveraged the assets that we have in ACES through my public engagement office, that we are a university that's engaged with the public. And we have success story, what the work we're doing in Carbondale around a food desert and a cooperative food venue is critically important. So elements of what we're doing in East St. Louis is very much applicable to other communities. But again, I remind you, it starts from a point of respect, having somebody that's anchored in the community that you can partner with, and the university then leverages its resources, but it can't be about the university driving or leading. We're there to assist. And I can tell you folks, from where I sit, that's the epitome of the land-grant university for the 21st century and beyond, is to be in community to assist, not always to lead, and to be respectful of the knowledge and co-create the knowledge that brings about the systematic change that we see happening in East St. Louis. We're doing it in different communities in Chicago right now, through Extension, through the SNAP Ed program, where we're delivering food and vertical farming systems. But I can tell you the next thing that we want to drive in partnership with Jackie is to get more into the health delivery business. It's one thing to educate people and to educate them about food and food issues. It's another then to use our network of 27 extension offices and to leverage the fact that we have the first engineering-based college of medicine in the world to use AI and other technologies to deliver health intervention and health services to underserved communities. So that's what's in it next for us. And to leverage the full weight of national 4-H around this positive youth development strategy. And you can do it in East St. Louis, you can do it elsewhere.
Can I say one thing?
I think that answer was yes.
Yes, and I just like to add what the Chancellor said with the respect, because what we do is that we meet people where they are.
Yeah.
And that's a huge difference in meeting people to gain the trust, to gain the respect, to allow expansion to be able to happen.
Yep. You're entering into a sacred space, right, when you start dealing with basic needs. So, well, it's hard to believe we've already been up here for 31 minutes, but I think based on this conversation, these two individuals did not disappoint, right, in terms of their level of engagement, their level of commitment, their passion for solving such a critical issue. So I want to thank you, Jackie, Chancellor Jones, for your time, for the conversation. Exceeded all expectations, which were already really high. So thank you, and please join me in thanking both of them.
Thank you.
Thank you.